Thank you guys for tuning in to the Robb Crocker Show live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to be talking about a bunch of different topics. Pre-debate night here with Robb Crocker, the host, as always. And of course with us across the aisle, JB, Don Miller. Thank you guys for joining us today. I'm going to hand it over now to the man himself, Robb Crocker. Let's get this show started.
Dance with the devil, walk with the angels. The truth will set you free. Guys, it's good to be back in the studio with y'all after the past 2 or 3 weeks. I know it was difficult on y'all. I appreciate the hard work to make everything happen.
Absolutely.
Before we get started tonight, I think it's very important that we all, as in the four of us, and everyone who has the ability to hear my voice. As Gonzo said, tonight's debate is going to happen at 9 o'clock. 48% of the people want one person to win. 48% of another group want the person to win. That leaves 4% of all of America to decide what happens in our future. But before we go there, I want to take a few minutes to remember and honor 9/11, 2001. At 8:41, the United States of America was attacked. And I understand there's a lot of different scenarios that we could get into. I don't want to do that. I want to honor everyone who perished because of it. It should have never happened, regardless of how it happened. That day was a memorable day in my life. I don't know where any of y'all were or what you were doing, but after that day, for the next months, years, this country was more unified than I can ever recall in my life. Over 86% of the population of the United States of America all agreed on something. That, to me, is amazing, because when you think about it, we don't agree on anything, but we all understood the hurt, the pain. You got to realize, back in 2001, the internet was not what it is today. Everything anyone saw came off the TV. So 95% of everyone was watching the TV, where 5% was getting their news off the internet. So for that to have happened on live TV, because it just wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it wasn't 3 times, it was 4 times. In the 4th time, people on the plane finally realized what was happening and selflessly gave all of their lives to prevent more destruction. So I would love to see the country come back to being united instead of the division and the polarization that is put out to us via the media, via whatever TikTok, whatever social site you follow. It's polarized for a reason. They are setting us up to be divided. They do not want us united. So by God, it's time to be one great country.
Amen.
I agree, yeah.
Don, where were you on 9/11?
I was preparing to go to the airport in Orlando, Florida. My flight was at 11:09. I was headed to D.C. and watching TV as I got dressed. I lived about 6 minutes from the airport. At that point, you can go right in and get to the gate, so there's never a rush. And it changed my life, as it changed all Americans, not just those who travel, but those who love this country. And I agree wholeheartedly with you that that was one of the greatest moments of unity that I have seen in this country. And my condolences to those who lost loved ones. And I want that day back as a country so badly.
The unification
Absolutely.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I pray to God that we as a country don't have to go through something like that again, of the chaos. At that particular time, I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina, to where there was a lot of military bases close by. And within hours, there was fighter jets flying at treetops down Highway 17 in the interstates along the coast of the eastern seaboard because no one knew what was going on. And that's what really sucks, that it takes something like that for everyone, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, to come together. But like Don just said, we were a unified country. And as time progressed, people started becoming divided for different reasons. And I hate that happened, but God bless all the people who lost their lives with their families and all the people who lost their lives fighting for freedom after that day. So I think 9/11, 2001 should always be a day that's remembered in a light that, for a positive light, that for a brief moment, we were all one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely take some time tomorrow to reflect on that, tonight and tomorrow, because I 100% agree. Our country's never unified as much as it was at that moment in time, and I think that it's very, very possible for us to reach that again without having such a devastating event occur. But we all need to put some of our emotions aside and look to the betterment of the country for everyone. So, thank you for
JD,
bringing
what
that
do you
up.
think?
I completely agree.
Well, it's a hard, no matter what we transition into tonight, it's never going to be easy because there's so many things that have happened in our country since last Tuesday night. So we'll go with one that's very hard and upsetting to me after visually seeing, and it's probably getting ready to be argumentative between me and the black man. Hey, by the way, he's wearing a black shirt tonight if no one noticed. I'm rubbing off on him.
What happened?
Black man, black shirt.
Just to let you know, he changed shirts before he came in here, so.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the only one that didn't get the memo.
Right.
White man, black shirt.
I'm doing my
So-
laundry right now, so.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, let's get into something I'm sure most of all of y'all have seen or heard about. Is Sunday morning, as Tyreek Hill was headed to the football game.
You got to tell people who he is. Everybody don't know.
Tyreek Hill is a wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. Used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he won a Super Bowl there, and he's a hell of a football player. He is an amazing wide receiver. So as he's going to the game Sunday morning, he's driving his McLaren, and as all of you know who've ever been to an NFL football game, traffic is horrendous, so you have to go through different situations, even if you're players trying to get to the players' parking lot. I do not know why he was pulled over or why he was stopped, but after reviewing all of the documentation and all of the body cam footage that I have seen, that's where it upsets me and it opens Pandora's box like no other.
Yeah.
Because all four of us, if we get pulled over, there's a procedure that we're going to follow. And if that procedure is not followed, that's when things have the opportunity to get escalated.
Yeah, very true.
So as we see the body cam footage, we see a police officer going to the car. Tyreek Hill had rolled his window down, then he rolled his window back up. Is that the moment the situation became escalated? Because from that moment, he is being dragged out of a car, handcuffed, put on the ground, his other teammates start stopping to try to de-escalate the situation. But my greatest fear after watching all of that was the treatment of someone that is famous. What happens if that's on a back road in Kentucky where no one knows person A and they don't have body cam footage? I think after watching that, I think every police officer, every sheriff, every highway patrolman who operates out in the field should be wearing body cam cameras, and they should be activated the minute they get out of their car to do anything. There's over 100 million traffic incidents to where people are pulled over every year. And through that, I don't know the statistic and how it became, 20% more African Americans are pulled over than white people. So do you see why African Americans fear the blue lights?
Yeah, especially after situations like this, which unfortunately they happen more often than they should. There's definitely a stigma behind the police when it comes to certain people. People always make jokes like, oh, I'm white, so it's okay if I get pulled over, like nothing's going to happen. But there's some people that are genuinely in fear for their lives when they get pulled over, even if they're not doing anything wrong, because of things they've seen happen, like this situation.
Gonzo,
or worse, unfortunately.
blue lights scare the hell out of me.
Yeah. I don't want to get a ticket.
I don't even like them behind me.
See, Gonzo's worried about a ticket. I'm worried about getting shot.
Which
That's
is sad.
the difference.
Yeah.
And it should not be like that.
No.
Now, I watched that video probably 10 times.
Yeah.
And as a black man, what you just alluded to, Crocker, is real. There's a difference. Knowing there's a difference, then I think it's important that we adjust appropriately because you're not going to ever change that moment in that moment. The key is, what do I need to do to get home?
Right.
And I believe that it's not right that I have to feel like that. And Gonzo worries about a ticket. I worry about a beat down or shot. But I think because of it's the way it is, when you know your head is in the lion's mouth, you pull it out slowly. Because if you snatch it out, you lose your head. What I saw, the cop did cross the line. Now, let me just say this, and I support law enforcement. I am involved heavily with law enforcement. That cop was a little over the top, and he's going to be handled, I assure you.
He's suspended right now.
But Tyreek Hill has been arrested enough times to understand the situation and the circumstance that he has found himself in.
Or at least he should.
I think we should look carefully at the situation, recognizing that the cop crossed the line. The cop could have easily handled that differently. But Tyreek Hill has some responsibility in that as well. When you push back on authority, you create a problem. My position historically has been comply. Comply. And I know there are people like, well, why you got to comply? He was in a fancy car and he's a black man. And hey, I get it. But comply.
There's a procedure that I learned. Like I said, I get scared when I get pulled over. So I immediately, in my vehicles, I have a specific spot for the registration, the insurance card, and my driver's license. Typically, my driver's license is in my wallet. But with what we've seen with police officers in the shootings on the side of the roads, they get scared too. So what I do, myself, dome light on, hands out the window.
Windows down.
Windows down.
Absolutely.
I think it's a law in the state of Florida, if you get pulled over, you're supposed to roll your window down. I don't know that for sure. I know every state has different laws. But I don't want to say common sense. Me personally, I'm rolling the damn window down, and my hands are going out where you can see them. Because I don't know if it's a white dude, a black dude, a Mexican dude. I know if it's blue lights, I'm going to listen to what they tell me. Mm-hmm. Because I've been in situations to where in my younger days, I didn't necessarily listen to what they told me. And it turns out bad.
Well, Don, you said too, at the end of the day, people just want to go home. At least I would think so.
That should
On
be
both
that
sides.
should be the focus on both
Yeah.
sides, right?
The cop wants to go home to his family.
Again, I'm
and-
not giving this cop a pass because understanding procedure and what I saw,
It was bullshit.
It could have been handled much
It
better.
was bullshit.
Absolutely. Okay.
So, you, as a black man, you said it so eloquently, Don.
Yep.
Fear comes into a person's mind and heart. Then you went to the lion analogy. All right? Well, I'm not the lion anymore.
Right.
That guy's the lion.
Absolutely.
So I understand. I'm Tyreek Hill. I make millions of dollars playing football. That's fine. I've got a job to do. Follow the instructions and let's go do it. And what was amazing about it is after he went through that ordeal of being handcuffed, thrown to the ground, and in reality, he was treated like shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that guy hasn't paid attention to Miami Dolphins, but I'm pretty sure his picture is everywhere in Miami. He should have recognized who it was.
But everybody don't give a shit about that. And I'm again, I told you how I felt about the police officer and the way that stop ended up. But I also say when I watch Tyreek Hill tell the police officer, don't knock on my window.
Problem.
When he decided to raise the window up and not comply,
Problem.
he created a problem for himself.
Yeah.
Now, it could have went either way, but I'm just saying that and especially a guy who's been arrested as many times as Mr. Hill has been arrested. You got to know, man. I get it, man. What I saw, I don't agree with. But come on, man. You ain't like the first time you dealt with the police. You had handcuffs on yourself more than you can count.
You never want to add fuel to the fire. You want to de-escalate as much as possible. Both sides, I think.
Absolutely.
I think if you see the blue lights, you slow down and you stop as quickly as you can and try to be in a bright lit place. And that was in broad daylight.
Yeah.
So does anyone actually know what he did to even...
But again, getting dragged out of the car,
is irreprehensible. It's bullshit.
it shouldn't have happened like that. But I can tell you, and I've talked to many of my law enforcement friends today, and even yesterday when it happened, I know guys who would have broke the window out. You don't know, with the windows tinted illegally like that, when he rolls the window up, what he's reaching for inside the vehicle. He could have immediately grabbed a weapon and fired through the window. You can't see. So please, guys, I get it. You know, I totally understand. You like to start at the end, black man on the ground, handcuffed, famous guy. But how about letting our young people know? If you're trying to save young black men who live in this society that we live in, where this is happening more than it should, let's tell them the truth. There's nothing more important that I tell my son than to come home to daddy. Daddy will handle the shit. Okay? I'll handle it. I need you to come home. Don't talk back. Comply, comply, comply. If the cop's an asshole, still comply, and I'll handle it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important than driving, even if you drive off with a $10,000 ticket. Just get to the house. We'll figure it out.
There's ways to handle it after, too.
Absolutely. So again, the cop crossed the line, but when you roll up a tinted window and the police officer can't see inside the vehicle, he don't know what you're going to do.
He became scared.
Hell yeah. And I'm telling you, I know this because of a number of reasons. Mr. Hill was as responsible for what happened as that cop was. Dude, just comply, man. Even if you know you're right, comply.
So
But the one thing about it,
what was he pulled over for, though? Like, what was the probable cause why he was pulled over? Do we know?
We do not.
I haven't seen it. I looked for it, but
I tried to find it as well. But the one thing about it is, he was the utmost professional football player that day. He went out and he did his job and he kicked ass. He had 7 receptions for 130 yards and 1 touchdown. Then he got to mock the police, doing his little giddy with
What
the
was that
handcuff.
about? That's who he is. I'm sorry. That's who he is. Okay? And I get it. Everybody, we've seen it really badly. We've seen it too many times. Okay? Aggressive policing. We've seen it. I've seen it. Black folks seen it more than white people. Okay? That ain't the first time. That's the film's time. Okay? The fact of the matter is, you have to take the high road even when you don't want to. The key is to get home. This gentleman, Mr. Hill, has the resources to address this at a level most of us don't. This cop crossed the line. Please understand that. It could have been handled better. But he did not have to raise the window up, a tinted window, an illegally tinted window. Nobody knows what he was going to reach for. I know police officers in many jurisdictions would have immediately broken the window out.
Apparently, someone said that he was going 100 plus, weaving in and out of traffic. Now, 100 plus, from what I saw, I don't know if that was even
arrestable.
possible.
Is
No, yeah.
arrestable.
Let's say he did. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
I don't know
what
if
was
he
the speed limit, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It wasn't 100.
Well, no.
I'm just saying.
No.
Well, one
wasn't
thing,
100.
No, but what I'm
one thing
trying to-
about the McLaren, if it did go to 100, that's about as fast as it'll go.
Oh, God.
Okay.
I'm surprised it didn't break down.
But too, like you were saying earlier,
Just saying,
You're
man. I'm
terrible,
just saying.
man. Come on, man.
You were
I know
saying
a
that
car
there's-
that'll smoke that ass.
there was all this traffic and stuff. So how far back was it? Like, was he able to do that in traffic? Weaving in and out, yeah, I could see that for sure. How fast was he really going, though? He could have been going 100, sure. But, I definitely want to see what the police report says.
Well, a lot of
Whether it's
people
true
got to
or not.
realize that car sounds like it's going a lot faster than it actually
too,
is.
yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But everybody needs to remember a situation similar happened to a white golfer at the U.S. Open.
Scheffler
Yes.
in Tennessee.
So,
And he got arrested.
yes, he did.
Right.
He got booked.
Yeah.
And he was behind bars.
And he had to play that day, too.
Yes.
Okay.
So, like Don said, abide by the law, follow the rules, and do what's right. If you
And let me just say this. You guys can take issue with this if you like. I'm fine with it. We can't do what white folk do. I've been telling black people this for a long-ass time. I'm going to say it again on the microphone. We can't do it. I've seen white ladies cuss the police out, call them pigs or whatever. No, I'm not doing that. If I disagree with the police officer, I'm going to quietly comply and deal with it later. They got a leash, but it's a little longer than ours. Now, you might get your white ass whooped, too. The fact is, you're going to have a few more minutes of jawing off than I have.
Yeah.
Okay? I got to open the door quietly.
What you're saying is generally white people have to do more to provoke
Absolutely.
a situation like this.
Yes. I know my rights, officer. Okay, no problem, ma'am. I understand you know your rights. I got a lawyer in my family. Oh, I understand, ma'am.
Don't make me reach for my gun.
Right. Right.
That's crazy.
Huh? You just spent 19 minutes before they drag her ass out
No,
the car.
you're right.
I get dragged out the car in 38 seconds. Just comply to get home. And Mr. Hill, your history is not a mystery, sir. You've dealt with this before. You've been engaged with the authorities for many years. You've had some really serious challenges, and now you're blessed with an amazing contract. Your life is good. You're not at that level anymore. The volatility that you engaged in as a poor young black guy trying to find your footing as a football player, that don't exist with you anymore. You're in elite class financially. You really are 1%er.
What's
yes,
the
sir,
3
officer.
words,
I'm
Miller?
headed to work. I work right over there at the big stadium. I wear a jersey, and what can I do for you?
Less is more?
Less is more. Until more is needed, and more would have been needed today after it was all set in stone. Because you've seen everybody's comments that the owner of the Miami Dolphins is a friend with Donald Trump. They've tried to spin it in every way negative as possible. I guarantee you that cop was a motorcycle cop. He had no idea who he was pulling over.
Yeah.
So he must have done something to identify himself as a reason to
Yeah,
get
it's
pulled
either
over.
that or the other team paid him off to find him and pull him over. So hopefully he wouldn't make it to the
7
game.
receptions, 130 yards, 1 touchdown, and a handcuff.
One of the
dance.
questions I got was how he was still able to play so good with bad knees afterwards.
You know what's amazing? It's amazing how everything becomes politicized. That's Miami. And I can tell you, as someone who spent 20-plus years dealing with professional athletes, he would have got a different look had he just been compliant. I promise you. Hey, officer, how you doing? I'm going to work. Where you work? Play for the Dolphins right up the street. Oh, okay. Well, you know you got this issue. No problem, sir. I'm going to handle it immediately. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
And it goes away immediately. I promise you, I've seen it. I've been in a car with an athlete going to a game, and we got pulled over. Hey, officer, I'm going. I play for this team. Oh, okay, no problem. Hey, you need to slow down, and your tag is expired. No problem. I'll deal with it immediately. My agent's right here. He's in the car. Officer, we'll deal with it. Hey, no problem. Slow down. I've seen it. Compliance changes the conversation.
For sure.
But when you let the window up and tell the cop not to knock on your window, and tell the cop who you are. Hey, man, everybody don't know y'all like that. Mm-hmm. And in Miami, where any Joe can rent that car for $1,400 a day, there are 20 places that rent that car. People fly to Miami from every hood in America and rent those cars. Yes or no, sir?
Absolutely.
They don't know.
The biggest thing that I take away from all of this, it could have been avoidable on both parties. It could have been handled completely different, and it could have turned out a lot worse than it did.
Yeah.
So let's be thankful that somewhat turned out positive, which is probably going to ruin and end that police officer's life and employment. Because
I didn't see any reason why that police officer should lose his job. I think he definitely should go back and do significant training. I think there's suspension in order.
It's media.
There's suspension in order.
Polarization division. What color was that officer?
I don't know.
He wasn't black.
Okay, I know that, yeah.
So.
But the officer, we understand that
when you have Drew Rosenhaus saying that every officer there should lose their
but
job.
That's Drew Rosenhaus. What's his history look like? Okay? The fact is, let's just sell this story to young people so it won't happen again. Just be compliant if you get pulled over by the authorities. Be respectful. Be compliant. Live another day and handle it after. That's all. If you got $10 or $10 million, on-the-spot engagement like that, no matter who you are, Crocker, Gonzo, it's not going to end, guys. It's not going to end well.
A police officer is an authoritative figure, just like a judge. If I happen to have to go to court, I'm wearing a tie. I'm wearing a coat. I'm not going in there with a T-shirt. I want him or her to look at me as an equal to where they understand that I respect them and that you have the ability to make a decision that can hurt my life. So I want to be as equal as I possibly can.
And I think that's the key. And I know they're going to politicize this. We're in a political climate. We are in a heightened racial climate. And I just want everybody to understand both people could have changed that situation at that moment. And I don't want to put it all on the cop who crossed the line. But let me just say this. Mr. Hill had more to live for and going for him than that cop. Let's be clear. He had more to lose than the cop by all means, right? Man, young fella, just bring it down, dude. Bring it down, man.
Speaking about young fellas.
Yeah, bring it down, man.
And young girls. This is something that's weighed heavy on my heart. School just started again in a school shooting. What hurts me the most is every school shooting inside of a school is preventable. You can't control what happens on the streets outside of the school, but you can control what happens when you send your child to school. I think it's absolutely disgusting that we, as the United States of America, cannot protect our children when they get on a bus or you drop them off at school. There's 98,000 public schools in the United States of America. There's 19,500 private schools. There is no reason that there's not metal detectors at the doors to allow your children or anyone who goes in that facility to be scanned, to know that I'm in a safe place. Why does that not happen, Don Miller?
You know why it doesn't happen. Come on, cut the nonsense. It doesn't happen because there's a group of people in the society that believe that scanning children, youth, underage children.
That's bullshit.
Wait.
There's been 46 school shootings since September.
Absolutely. Okay.
33 have happened at K through 12 that you don't even hear about.
And go look what percentage of African American urban schools, Crocker, have metal detectors.
They have them. Go to Chicago. Guess what? You're not going into that school.
Right.
Okay?
They got them, Crocker.
A metal detector.
They have them, Crocker.
Yes, sir.
I know.
They're $2,400 a piece. How much is your child's life worth?
Yeah.
It's simple. How much is your child's life worth? When we send billions of dollars to Ukraine, to Israel, to wherever it may be, spend the money on our kids.
But Crocker, it's not about the money. The money exists. The money, they had the money at Sandy Hook. They had the money at the South Florida school. They had the money at the school in Atlanta and Georgia the other day. The money exists. The problem is that these young people push back because they find metal detectors a violation of their privacy. And they go home and they tell their parents. There have been lawsuits.
Well, their parents are stupid. Do you want your kid to come home? There's crazy people everywhere.
Absolutely, sir.
Whether it's somebody getting in a vehicle, killing someone, someone grabbing a knife, killing someone. But when you have the opportunity to prevent something from happening, you're talking about 1,960,000 metal detectors. Excuse me. You got me fired up down, Gonzo. Damn it. At $2,400 a piece, you're looking at $4.7 billion. That's not even a pimple on the ass of the money we send to Ukraine, Israel, and everywhere else. Take care of us, please.
No, I think it's ridiculous.
No, but you got to listen, though, Gonzo. There are people who have sued school systems because their children feel like their privacy is being violated by having metal detectors or searches at the school.
We have to put in a balance what is more important to you, privacy or safety in this certain situation.
Yeah, but
And
scanning.
What the hell are y'all talking about?
Yeah, scanning.
Nobody has privacy. You got Instagram, you got Twitter,
I'm
you
getting
got
there.
Facebook.
But two, not only that,
Well-
do you have rights as a minor anyway? And we're just trying to
Last I
protect
checked,
you.
no. Last I checked, I had no rights. I got my ass whooped.
That's what I'm saying.
for closing the door.
What do you mean you don't have any rights, Don Miller?
As a
this
12-year-old,
kid,
as a
this 12-year-old can go to that counselor and say, I feel like I'm a boy today. I'm a girl today. Can I get a sex change? Come on, man, get real.
So that's more important than their safety.
Yes.
Essentially is what is being projected.
Yes.
There's funding for that. There's no funding for metal detectors.
Litter boxes, man. Come on, there's cats in schools now. Didn't you know that, Gonzo?
But think about this. Think
Yeah.
about this, right? At my age, I remember there were schools with metal detectors coming online at my age many years ago. And there was no pushback. Not one parent I recall, especially in public schools and many of these cities.
Explain to me this. Explain to me this. If it's such a pushback, why is it you go to a high school football game on a Friday night and you can't walk into the stadium without going through a metal detector? Why?
I mean, at least at my high school, like there were no metal detectors. I don't think there are today. But
I guarantee you, if you go to Lake Mary High School on a Friday night,
There's no metal detector.
no.
I know there's metal detectors in Wilmington, North Carolina.
There's none where I.
Yeah.
No way. These kids will be pissed off. Go tell their dads who are lawyers and rich guys. Dad, I don't want to go through a metal detector. I feel like my rights are being violated. And down to the school board they go at the school board meeting. And look, Jacoby doesn't feel comfortable. He is under stress because he has to walk through a metal detector. No problem. School board meets, school board votes. Jacoby doesn't have a metal detector.
How many times have I said, this debate tonight is real? It starts at home. You elect the school board. You interview these people. You're hiring these people to guide your children. Hell, they're with them more than they are with you. Pick good people. And if they're not good, don't vote for them.
But when you look at the Georgia shooting that you brought up, there was a ball drop in that. There was a significant ball drop. The authorities had visited that house, and
It's a common theme.
the authorities had visited the house. There was a flag already on this kid. Dad was a piece of shit. Mom had already notified the school 30 minutes before the shooting. There was a ball drop, and the ball was dropped by a bunch of people. My concern is when we keep seeing this and we ask ourselves the same dumbass questions, how did this happen? It can happen tomorrow. Because as long as we allow young people to be in charge, then this is going to be a problem.
And that's what I was going to say. Part of the issue is we're letting young people, meaning kids, make too many decisions.
Absolutely.
And we shouldn't be letting them make any decisions.
I couldn't even tell my mama what I wanted to eat for dinner. You either, Crocker. You ate what was prepared.
Not spaghetti again.
Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. You ever storm in the house and be like, I want steak. Get your ass out of here.
I can remember getting home. I can remember getting home after school, and I would eat a half a damn loaf of bread because I was hungry.
Right.
And then, growing up, I thought salmon came in a can. I didn't know it was a damn fish that
Right.
making fried salmon patties.
Right. Mackerel.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. With onions.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But now a kid tells their parent what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and how they're going to do it. And everyone is okay. It's round how it's all tied back into the election, the people. Everything has a piece of the pie. When you vote, we'll transition. When you vote for this next president, you're picking what you want your kids to be, to have, because it's not going to be you. Every one of them has a completely different idea on how they want to steer the ship. It's not one or the other. It's so A to Z, it's not even close what they want. One wants illegals to come into the country with no consequences. Okay, what does that mean, Gonzo? It means those illegals go to your school. It means those illegals get Medicare, Medicaid. They get all of this. That's what one person wants.
And it means I have to pay for it.
Well, I can't help that. But the other person wants to lock the border down and deport all of the Venezuelans that are creating chaos in the country. And you got the person saying, well, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You're setting the stage for failure for your children. If those people are in your school, in Maryland, what is the gang MS-13? There was a MS-13 kid who had been convicted of rape who was going to high school, and they are okay with it. So it's such a drastic difference that it's very important that everybody does their own research and figure out who they want to hire. I know if I left and I went away for 55 days and stayed in a hotel, went wherever, and never returned a phone call and never did anything, I probably wouldn't have a job. So how is it she has ghosted America? Because once again, media catfish. Remember those words.
Well, she's doing better now. She's going to the spice store. She's giving the old lady a hug when she cries. So, you know, she's out there doing stuff, I think.
You just mentioned MS-13. MS-13 is an international gang. Well, it's a criminal organization out of El Salvador. And a league initially, what they were put together allegedly to do was to protect Salvadorian migrants. The fact is, we have brought these killers into this country who are not at all familiar with law enforcement or law, and they are wreaking havoc. Not just MS-13, the Venezuelan gangs, they're gangs from many countries. And that's not to even count the prisoners. Many of these people were let out of prison just to come to this country. So I think the challenge is that we just have an obligation to protect our
This
kids.
country's a shit show. Just say it, man. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, do we got any messages tonight, Gonzo?
A bunch, actually.
Let's go.
There's a bunch of
Let's get it
conversations.
on. JB, you good with that?
Start reading them.
All right. Mainly, I think most of these are relating to the school topic. Someone said that we don't need more government oversight in relation to metal detectors or heightened security. Some other people said that the money should be going to more security for the schools to protect our children.
What does that mean? We don't need more government oversight. What white person said that?
Cigar geek.
Okay, that was a white person. That was a white person. A total white person. Probably lives in a suburban area.
Use your real name next time.
Right. Okay. Somebody who lives in a suburban area who ain't never been robbed or jacked or attempted jacked or nobody breaking into their locker. Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
That was relating to the last conversation. I don't want to go too far back and
All right.
pull up recent conversations, but yeah.
Well, the main thing is it's very important that everybody understand that 42,000 people decided the last election. That is less than a college stadium on a Saturday. That is less than an NFL stadium on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
That's less than a NASCAR race. That is how critical it is for everyone to do your research. Who do you want to hire to make sure you continue to get a paycheck, that you actually get more money in your paycheck, or gas you can afford, or you can afford power? And just look at the things that the people want to do and what they don't want to do and how they will impact your life, because that is truly what's critical and what's going to make a difference for each of us and to everybody. Because we know New York, California, Texas, they're all going to do what they're going to do. Pennsylvania, all right? We need fracking. I'm all for it. I've seen what it did to North Dakota. I was out there. I watched what it did. I see the value. I've also sat in a parking lot waiting for 45 minutes for a Tesla to charge up too. And guess what? That's not me. I'm not a 45-minute waiting guy to go 200 more miles. I did that shit when I was 10 years old. When I had a sizzler. Hold on, you had a sizzler. You plugged it in off 2D batteries, and it would go and go and go until it ran out.
Then you had to charge it up.
Yes.
And you were pissed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, but when we talk about some
Actually, I had 4 cars.
Okay.
So I didn't
so you
have
had to wait till tomorrow. You know what the problem is? I think they're talking about things that the American people give no shits about. I get it. Fracking is important if you understand the energy situation that we found ourselves in, right? But the average American just want to go buy groceries at a good number and fill up their car and pay their electric bill that's out of control for no damn reason, right? The level of gouging by corporate entities in this country is at an all-time. Why the hell is cable more than it was last year. Why the hell is there another $26, $27 on my internet bill, Gonzo? There's no reason to raise the internet bill. What's happening in America that to tell these Spectrum assholes to find it okay to stick another $25 on my internet?
Honestly, because people are still going to pay for it.
That's the problem. It's gouging. And just like in hurricane times when the governors of many of these states that are faced with challenges, hurricanes, say, I'm going to arrest you if you gouge.
That and all the union people are going to protest.
Yeah. It's gouging, Crocker. So the common man
Hey, you know what,
don't give a
Don?
shit if fracking is a
I'm
conversation.
going to wear white shirts.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to wear white shirts. But you know what I just did?
What?
I told you what you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But guess what I'm not going to do?
What?
Wear a white shirt.
Absolutely.
Ever.
That would be the day.
Understand the people that are telling you what they're going to do. From immigration to taxes to health care. It's going, you know what, you got a devil and you got a worse devil. Hell, I don't even know what to say. You know what Donald Trump stands for. You know what he did for the country in a 4-year period.
And you know what Kamala didn't do.
Hell, Kamala's still there. You realize Kamala could walk in there tomorrow, Gonzo, and say, hey, Joe, and laugh.
That was good. Do that again.
We did
I
it.
probably can. But she can do that right now. Why is she not? This past weekend, Sunday shows, Bernie Sanders, one of her colleagues, came out and said she's doing what she has to do to get elected. Then she will go back to her ways.
Now, let me just say this, and he did say that, actually. Let me just say this.
What, do you think I made it up?
As we're winding up here, I want to talk about the debate. Can we talk about the debate real quick?
Yeah, just make sure we get to the walk to the plank.
Okay, all right, we're going to walk the plank, but your thoughts on the debate, Gonzo?
Well, I think that the mics being muted is actually going to help Trump. I think that Kamala's team wanted the mics to not be muted so she could pull the whole, excuse me, I'm speaking, and then everyone on Twitter could say, look at her go, she's such a strong
Look how
black woman.
disrespectful he is.
Yeah, and she won't let no man step on her. So that's out the window.
Okay.
But I think overall it's going to be Trump saying, listen, her administration did jack shit and my administration did all these things, and she's going to go, well, the reason for everything going so bad is because of you. And I'm going to do, all these great things. But she's going to talk for an hour and a half and not actually say anything. And then Trump's going to be like, you're an idiot. We did all this stuff. Vote for me.
She's been talking for an hour and a half. Do you actually think the debate will actually last that long?
No, it definitely is going to last that.
Yeah, but it's just word salad. And, and basically saying, that's not true. But he's a liar. And that's about it.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'll tell you why. She's never, ever been at a microphone with a live camera for more than, I don't even know about a live camera, but she's never engaged for more than 17 minutes.
Yeah, this will be very interesting, actually.
And my concern is that President Trump, if he stays calm and engaged in facts
Policy.
and policy, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because she can't even engage in that kind of conversation.
Like the first debate?
I think if I want to see Trump without emotion.
Like the first debate?
I want to see
with
Trump
Biden.
with information, no emotion.
Yeah.
Because they're going to call him a racist. They're going to call him anti-woman. They're going to call him all these names. But at the end of the day, I expect to see a very interesting debate. And I want to put this out here on your show that we could see a giant change in the next few days, depending on how this goes tonight.
Very interesting.
And
yes.
if people remember what happens for more than a week when they go to the polls, then, yeah.
Again, who controls the narrative? The media. Who has invested the most money in Kamala Harris? I don't know if any one of the three of you knew this. Google's attorney has been prepping Kamala Harris for this debate. So, to me, that's a conflict of interest, but I'm sure to someone else it's not. So, when we watch this debate tonight, I think it's very important to listen to the policies that they talk about. Man, there's a lot of pretty girls that are dumb as rocks. There's a lot of guys that are strong and look good, but can't walk. It's very important to understand and put yourself at the desk. When you're watching them, you're interviewing them, you're hiring them. Who do you want to control your success? Whether it's us in the world, it's us militarily, it's your paycheck, it's the banks closing. There's so many variables. When someone wants a new Green Deal, well, they want the new Green Deal. That's what she wanted. She did that. She passed. She was the deciding vote that has put us in the situation we're in economically.
Yeah, but she changed her mind. Now she thinks that we shouldn't tax tips. Where'd she get that idea from? I don't know, but
I guarantee you that comes up tonight.
actually it should. I hope it does. You're
All
copying
right.
all my policies because you know they're good.
JB, I want you to walk the plank from last Tuesday with anything and everything that you've had to experience in your life that you want to get off your chest, AKA ship.
It's gonna be tough.
Was your week that damn good?
Besides politics,
Stay
yeah.
inside all day.
No, I mean for work, I'm inside. I don't know.
I will say this, piggybacking off of last week and what you were just talking about, the media. I'm tired of it. I don't watch cable anymore.
So you're putting the
I'm not
media
paying
on the
for
plane.
cable.
You're putting
Yeah,
the media on the plane.
yeah, mainstream
Well,
media
I mean,
for sure.
I don't watch the news. I don't use social media. So those walk the plank for years. I don't know what else can walk the plank right now.
Hopefully the
For,
Democratic nominee.
for
But
me, the media walks the plank because media, MEDIA, most effective devil in America, walks
Very
the
good
plank.
acronym.
The media is the most
Yeah.
effective devil in America. The media walks the plank.
Gonzo.
well, besides the media and the Democratic nominee,
You,
man, what, I
You
mean
upset
that would
about
just
that.
that would solve so many problems. I feel like. In my personal life, I'd go back to just not worrying about stuff that's out of your control. I think that's a major one that a lot of people could do to help alleviate stress or an anxiety that you might have. That's a big one.
Well, I'm going to bring humor to my walk the plank, and it's going to go back to technology. I've gotten into a show where I have multiple Netflix accounts. So when I log in, it tells me to get a new code. So I have to send someone a text to get my new code. So that pisses me off. So Netflix, walk the plank. Then today, my electric toothbrush needed to walk the plank because the owner of said electric toothbrush didn't have electric toothbrush plugged in, so the damn thing didn't work. So I probably should walk the plank with my toothbrush. Then Nancy Pelosi, an individual who has made more money off of every one of our backs being in Washington, D.C., comes out and says 30% of America will not vote for Democrats. Well, what she needs to revert back to when she started in politics, the people now who are Republicans were voting Democrat. Their policies have gone so extreme that, yeah, you're right. No one wants illegal immigrants coming into the country. No one wants all of the things that they stand for right now. So when we go to bed tonight, after we watch this debate, I want everyone to really think about who you saw, what you heard, and what you want for your future. Mm-hmm. Because it's not me, it's not JB, it's not Don Miller, it's not Gonzo, it's you who decide. And remember, 4 years ago, 42,000 people made a difference. So your vote matters. Go out and vote and make a difference and hire the right person. Everybody, Have a great night. See you next week.
Bye bye, everybody.